Hello, dear friends. I hope you're doing really well today. This is Tracy Brown, your somatic nutrition therapist and attuned eating expert. And this week we're going to talk about the thing we need to talk about, which is weight gain worries without being overlooking to how it may be doing you harm or how it may do others harm. So I feel really passionate about this issue, and I know that I'm probably going to make some missteps here. I don't have every experience, which is what I talk about in every single video I've ever done when it comes to talking about weight, because I don't have every body experience, of course. I have my experiences, and then I have the thousands of conversations I've had with people of all shapes and sizes over the last 20 years, understanding what it's like to be them. And so we're going to talk very delicately and nuancedly about this. And so I know this is not going to make for the most easy talking points notes. You're probably going to have to take notes for these videos because I want to go into the weeds a bit to come out for you to have some things to think about, and then you can respond later to what you know resonates and aligns with your values. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of the most important things that I think we have to understand about talking about weight and weight gain fears is we have to understand where we're doing it and with whom we're doing it. All right. So it's totally acceptable when you're in a one-on-one session with me to lay it all on the line. Like, how do you really feel about things? Your fears, your anger, your shame, all be laid out. You don't have to filter anything, right? And that's a place where that needs to happen. However, but because if you're doing it with a person that you know, knows how to navigate the circumstances, knows how to navigate, is this your adult part? Is this some other part? What is this? That's different from then, let's say, being with a family member, for example, that maybe doesn't understand, when we say I feel fat, what we're really saying is I feel uncomfortable, and doesn't know the language. So it's if you're, let's say, body trashing yourself, you're probably going to get somebody to tell you, well, just change your food and your exercise and you'll feel better, and then you didn't get your needs met. So we have to be really, really clear with ourselves before we go talking about anything else in our struggles, to know that that source knows how to navigate what you're actually saying. So that's really important. And so if you're working with family members, you might want to say, if I complain about my body, one, the most important and first thing to ask me is, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Because if they start colluding with your body bashing, then nobody's winning and nobody gets anywhere. So that's one place. If it's, let's say, a partner, and you're asking them to don't let me eat this or don't let me eat that, and you've told them that for a really long time, and then you're complaining about your body, and then you switch gears to doing more recovery oriented work and body neutrality, they're not going to understand that when you complain about your body, that you really aren't looking for reassurance that your body is good or bad. You're still speaking in code language, and they don't know that, and they might accidentally say something that's inappropriate, and we get mad at them, of course, because we've taught them how to police us versus, really listen to what we're saying below what we're saying. And so lastly, I think that when we're on these online spaces, and let's say you're in an intuitive eating support group, and in pretty much every other message, or not every other message, but every other post that people put in that group, it's about fear of weight gain. I know that's understandable because we are taught to fear that. Nobody wants to be a part of a stigmatized group. Everybody has learned over the last 100 years plus that gaining weight is terrible and it's the worst thing ever, and nobody wants to do it. And it's one of the things I understand, that that's how people feel, and recognizing is the red herring. And that in bigger groups, when you're afraid of gaining weight, what you're saying is, I'm afraid to look like somebody else that may be actually doing really great and having a really great day. And then now we're stigmatizing them. And we're not really thinking about hey, I am struggling with body changes because I'm supposed to feel like this is a bad thing. I wonder What if I frame this as like, I'm not sure what to do and how to feel about these changes. And I know intellectually that it really wouldn't be the worst thing in my whole entire life if I gain weight. I might not like it. How do I deal with what this means? These are the kind of ways we want to be framing how we're feeling. And so that's why half the time when people are afraid about weight gain, I know that on the very under end of that, somebody else maybe weighs that and they feel really great, and that feels really bad to them. So that's why half the time I can't approve these posts, because they're just going to be too triggering for people who have gained that weight and having a great day, or who have been in a larger body their whole lives and feel like things are going good, and it's so sad that you feel like that, like looking like me would be the worst thing ever. So I think that's really taken some time to think about what company I'm sharing my weight gain fears in, and what is it that I'm really afraid about, getting really clear about that. And so I share this message not to be shaming, and I actually tend to be harder, I'll be honest, on my thinner clients or standard size clients than other clients, because it's like the thing, if you recover in a smaller size body, you don't have to go through another layer of stuff. And I understand why you'd be afraid of that. But what we're really afraid of really isn't totally, it's not really all about having a bigger body. It's like what we think that means, what we think people will think about us, what it means to be more embodied and feel more sensation. And those are things we've got to work through, because at the end of the day, we don't really get a say over what our bodies need to be size-wise to thrive. And when we're making body size the red herring, we're missing out on so much opportunity to heal. Oh, what if it was, instead of I'm afraid to gain weight, is I'm not sure if I change who I'll be, or what will happen, or what people will think about me. And that's the work we got to be doing, is working on what makes it important. What do you think you will lose? What will happen if you actually get better? How would you communicate if you weren't communicating through the language of hating your body? There's a lot to think about. So I say this really lovingly and really respectfully, to really think about, there are times and places to share those things really transparently, let it all hang out. And then there are some places where it's we want to understand that when we're asking a group of people to understand our fears, not everybody feels like gaining weight is the worst thing ever. And some people, on the other hand, are not going to be your soft place to land around that issue either, and really understand, besides, okay, eat less, move more kind of thing, which is still recapitulating, see, I told you that I can't talk about these things without getting shamed. Then we're going to the wrong sources, and we want to be discerning. So again, I put out a lot of info. For some of you that this might land wow, I never thought about this stuff this way. And be really gentle with yourself. Take some time to take the whole week if you need to, and journal about this stuff. If you need more support to really work through the complexity of it, please reach out to me. And know that all concerns about weight totally deserve to be heard. They just can't be heard in a certain way in every space, and that's totally fine. We all have different experiences that really, really, really do need to have safety and regulation, and to learn how to have a complete bigger picture perspective on it. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope everybody, I'm so glad to see all of you here tonight with me. Thank you everybody who said hello, including Jennifer and Mary. I really appreciate you all being here. If this video, you felt like, man, I think some people need to hear this, please send that along to them. I really appreciate that. I think that's it for today. If you're needing some help in a really brave space, the Peaceful Eating community is available to people anytime they need to come and go. Of course, I'd be happy to, if you just reach out, we can talk one-on-one as well. So thank you all so much for coming tonight, and we will now that we've done some framework about like why some spaces and some places aren't going to give us the milk we need, remember, don't go to the hardware store for milk. On Wednesday, we're going to talk a little bit more about seeing weight worries. It's almost like it's the motor. We're going to talk about what that means this on Wednesday. We're going to talk about the motor of food obsession and body obsession, and especially like what we look like and what that's trying to communicate. When I say the motor, what I really mean by that is like when we're really obsessive, that's our brain's way of managing anxiety. Internal anxiety, somatic memory, all the things, and how that basically hijacks our relationship with food. So we're going to talk more about that on Wednesday. So I hope to see you all there. Real quick, I would say, just for all of you would like to plan ahead, I'm trying to get better at not just being like, hey, I'm jumping on in 5 minutes. But I would say for all of you, today's the 9th, 11th, I would say, yeah, we'll probably be meeting around kind of early to mid-afternoon, probably 2:30ish kind of. So I know it's the middle of the day for a lot of people who are working and doing stuff, but the replay will be there. So just kind of know that that'll be on. If you have any questions, anybody who wants to share some comments, please feel free to do during the live video. If you're doing a replay, I'd love to hear about, put replay in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer questions you have. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you all on Wednesday. Bye for now.